Hello everybody, welcome to the ninth interview of Data Channel. Today I have with me Mr. Madhivanan. He's a 9-time Microsoft Most Valuable Professional Award winner and a well-respected data platform expert in India. I am very happy to have him on Data Channel. How are you doing, sir?
I am fine, Nagaraj. How about you?
I'm doing fine too. Thank you. So, as discussed, today we'll be talking about best practices in T-SQL programming. So, shall we get started?
Yes, definitely.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Just to get the conversation started, so how important is T-SQL programming in application development?
So, T-SQL programming is very important, whether you write your code in the application layer or database layer. And some people think that writing SQL is very easy, which is actually not. It's little bit complicated if you don't know how to write efficient code. So, in my opinion, I would say that T-SQL programming is very important, like any other front-end programming languages.
That's great. So, what are the common problems that you would see if T-SQL section is not properly written?
So, if the T-SQL codes are not properly written, it may lead to various problems. The first issue will be performance issue, as everyone knows, and because of this, the execution of code will take a lot of time to produce the result, and it may also take a long time to debug, identify, and solve the problems.
Okay.
And these poorly written codes also very difficult to understand and maintain.
Okay.
So, in my opinion, I would say that one should always try to write efficient code.
Okay, okay. So let's say we have identified T-SQL is the problem. So what are the things? How will you review it? What are the things you will look at on a T-SQL code?
So, if the codes are written in application layer, I would say that most of the codes should be moved to database layer for a better maintenance.
Okay.
And another thing is that it may sound very easy, but if you don't notice it, it may lead to a lot of problems.
Okay.
Mixing up and or conditions without specifying any precedence.
Okay.
For example, let's say that we have three conditions.
Okay.
Uh, we have a var class which says that column 1 equal to some value and column 2 equal to some value or column 3 equal to some value. So, as the natural order, SQL Server engine will proceed from left to right. So, it will execute the undo part first, and then or part will be executed
Okay.
second. But if you actually wanted to mean the second part will be executed first, and then the first part should be
Hmm.
executed second, you should actually use the braces.
Okay.
See, for example, kind of column 1 equal to value and within braces column 2 equal to some value or column 3 equal to some value. So
True.
this is one simple thing which may cause lot of problems if you don't notice it correctly.
True.
And
True.
we also notice if there are mix up of inner join and left joins.
Okay.
We also properly give the precedence, and also we need to understand that left join with where condition will actually become inner join.
Okay. Okay.
So we also need to consider it.
So
If you actually mean inner join, we can go for inner join actually.
true. True. So
And if the codes are written in old style join,
okay.
say without using on, uh,
Okay.
by using only where condition,
Okay.
where condition should be specified. If there is
True.
no where condition, as we know, it becomes cross join.
Cross join. Yes. Yes. That's a classic
This, this,
problem that
yeah,
has
these are the
happened.
things I would actually look into the code.
Okay, okay, fine. Interesting points here. One of the precedents of the pair conditions and then the join type. It's interesting, sir. So, what are some of the best practices you would recommend for somebody writing a T-SQL code?
Okay, as a starting point, we should always choose the proper data type. based on the nature of the data.
Okay.
I have seen people blindly go for varchar data type. We should not be correct. We should always choose the proper data type based on the nature of the data.
Okay.
And another thing is that we need to write efficient where conditions. For example, if there are columns used in the where condition, and some functions are applied over the indexed column,
Okay.
the SQL Server will not make use of any index.
Okay.
So, in order to make SQL Server to use the indexes, we need to rewrite the code.
True.
So, as an example, I can say that there is a column named transaction date, which is indexed. There is a where condition, say where transaction date, month of transaction date equal to 10, and year of transaction date equal to 2010.
Okay.
So instead of using this, I would suggest to rewrite this where condition as where transaction date is greater than or equal to October 1st, 2010, and transaction date is lesser than November 1st, 2010, in
Okay.
order to make use of the available indexes.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Making the writing sargable queries, as they say,
Yes, yes,
is
definitely.
is
And
one of the
also,
key points.
yeah. And also, if there are order by class within your SQL code, we need to actually verify whether it is actually needed. If you are
Okay.
sending your data to the application layer,
Okay.
and you can do the order by class in the application layer itself.
Okay.
So instead of having a database server to bear all the cost, you can
Okay.
push the data as they are in the application layer and let application layer
will
do
take
the
over.
order by class.
Okay.
And another thing is that whenever we send data to application layer, we
Okay.
should always specify the column names instead of
Okay.
star.
True.
So
Okay.
if there are additional columns added in future, it may break some code, some of your application.
Excellent point, sir. Excellent point. So, just to summarize for our viewers, one is
Yeah.
picking the right data type, other is ensuring we have sargable predicates or sargable
Yes.
where conditions where index is applied, not
Yes.
using star, and effective usage of order by or some of the common recommendations you would say. That's great.
Yes.
So, and just while you were saying right data type, one of the immediate things that popped up to my mind was using using
Proper-
varchar for date. Have you
Yes.
have you seen that particular case? I'm sure you would have.
Yes, yes, yes. I have seen many such cases.
So yes, that's a classic case. Bringing there, actually, would you like to narrate any scenario that where T-SQL was a problem, where how you troubleshoot a real time scenario, some anything that you'd like to share?
Okay. Long time ago, when I was working for in another company, there was a report which was actually taking a lot of time to load the data. Actually, the number of rows is actually lesser than 200K,
Okay.
and even though the number of rows is less, it's taking a lot of time to load the data. So
Okay.
when I actually looked into the code, I saw that the report actually needed 7 columns to display, whereas the code was sending all the columns because select star is used,
Okay.
and order by also used.
Oh.
So it was sending all the columns with order by.
Okay. So which is which
Yeah.
takes so
So
much of
because
yeah.
because we were already doing order by inside our crystal reports. I
Okay.
just removed order by class and then added only the required columns.
Okay.
So that
Okay.
actually boost up the response time by 5 times.
Oh, excellent, sir. So usage of pushing the order by to the right side, and also just limiting to the right columns actually boosted
Yes.
up the performance by 5
Yes,
times.
yes.
That's excellent to
And
know.
another case is not writing the searchable code, as you said.
Yes.
And one report was actually taking a lot of time. When I looked at the code, it was the stored procedure which was accepting year part,
Okay.
and the where condition it is used as year of transaction date equal to the variable.
Okay.
Even though transaction date is indexed, it is not making use of any index because of the year function, right?
Yes.
So I have rewritten the code in such a way that it is actually chargeable.
Sir, excellent, sir. That's something we can't stress enough, isn't it? Like usage of functions on index columns. Yes.
Yeah.
And just that you brought about pushing the certain logic onto the application layer, the crystal reports layer, as you quoted. So,
Yes.
just wanted to, do you have some guidelines on when to move to database layer and when to move to application layer, the T-SQL code?
Okay, if you ask me, I would say that in general, all SQL code will move to database layer
Okay.
only.
Okay.
And in some cases, if you are using SQL inside your application layer,
Okay.
all the lookup values should go to database layer only. For
Okay.
example, if you are maintaining some lookup value inside your application layer,
Okay.
and what happens if there are additions into
Okay.
the lookup values?
Okay.
You need to change your application layer code, test, debug, and then deploy it, right? So it may
True.
take a long time to implement actually.
True.
So if you move this piece into your database layer, it is very easy to maintain because all you have to do is just have one table in your database
True.
and add whatever lookup values you want.
True. 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 Interesting, sir. Yes, lookup values, and it gives much better control when we push the T-SQL section onto the database layer. So, okay, moving on. We have seen lots of improvements in the recent time. Microsoft is releasing a version almost every year or 1.5 years in the last few
Yes.
releases. So, what are the interesting T-SQL enhancements you think are exciting?
As far as 2016 version is concerned, that we have a lot of new interesting features.
Okay.
Some of them are we have temporal tables now,
Yeah. Okay.
which actually records all your historical data.
Okay.
So at the same time, you can query your actual data as well as your the deleted data, right?
True.
And there are some improvements in the JSON function
Yes.
system functions,
Yes.
where we can directly play with JSON data.
Okay. Okay.
There is also some improvement in the Polybase database where you can directly interact with the Hadoop system.
True. True.
It's one of the upcoming technology in the big data area.
Okay.
And we also have R engine. You know that Microsoft has
Mm.
already added
Yes.
Revolution Analytics engine.
Yes.
It's actually integrated R as part of the SQL 2016 engine,
Okay.
where you can use the system stored procedure as we execute the external script to actually call R code inside your SQL
True.
server.
True.
So these are the interesting things in
Yes.
2016.
Yes. It makes it all the more powerful, isn't it, sir? Like you can
Yes.
actually push even certain amount of R compute onto the
Yeah.
database layer, which makes it very powerful. And same with the JSON part as well. Like you can
Yes, yes.
JSON and Hadoop, touching Hadoop and those kind of things.
Yes.
They are interesting things. Okay, and also, as you may be aware, like in the last few releases, they have been enhancing the optimizer. The engine is getting smarter. So, how important is following the best practices? There are people who can give you an excuse saying that, okay, now the engine is very powerful, it knows everything. So, how would you stress the importance of T-SQL programming?
As far as this query optimizer is concerned, in earlier versions, in order to make SQL engines to force
Mm.
to get benefit, we may needed to include some joins, right?
Oh, yes.
we need to specify whether it's a hash join or merge join, something like that, right?
Yes.
With the improved optimizer in 2016, I don't think we can specify them anymore. I believe that the new version will, there are a lot of improvements and it will
Yes.
take care of those
Yes.
hints.
Yes.
We don't need to explicitly specify any hints.
Yes. Yes. True. True. So still, do you think the T-SQL recommendations that like the fundamentals still need to be followed? No, sir. Like in terms of having index, having the right where conditions
So
and so on.
whatever I told you earlier in the
Yes.
part of following best practices, it
Yes.
should actually continue
Yes.
irrespective of whether we are working on the earlier versions or the
New versions.
current versions or it's going to be a future version.
Excellent, sir. So, and another common problem that people face is okay, the application was launched, it was working fine. After a few months, after a few years, it starts performing badly. So, why is it so, and what is your recommendation for those kind of problems?
So considering data growth over a period of time, whenever we write code, we not only test on the small data set, we also simulate some big data set and then test against it, so that in future we may not have any problem.
Okay.
So what we usually do is that after writing code and then test, make sure that it's working fine, we
Okay.
will actually simulate some millions of rows of
Okay.
table and try to execute against it, so that
Okay.
we will learn something from that.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so in order to avoid any problem in future, we can actually simulate them by applying our code on the mimicked data set.
Okay, okay. So one of the areas you would like to stress is the testing with larger amount of data instead of just
Yes,
testing functionally alone. Okay,
yes, definitely.
important point, sir. Yes, that's right. And of late, we talk of DevOps, we talk of release practices. How important do you think is writing clean T-SQL code and readable T-SQL code in terms of while you are releasing and for people to understand what is your recommendation? What are your thoughts on that?
So this is something that I always advise people to follow it, because whenever I look the code written by other people, I may need to take long time to actually understand what is actually written,
Okay,
because there is no proper format, there is no proper indent, it's
okay,
not actually readable. So whenever I start writing the code, I do format myself.
okay,
So whenever I write code, I do it from the first time itself.
okay,
If there are codes already available with the poor format
okay,
and not readable, there are some online tools available like SQL Inform or
okay,
SQLformat.org,
okay,
etc.,
okay,
where we can make use of them. We can actually load our SQL code over there and format and then get
okay.
back to our working environment.
Okay, okay, fine, fine, interesting, sir. So making it readable by using the right tools, and also this is my opinion. Like just more, also keeping the stuff simple is the logic, or keeping it simple also helps in the reusability of the code, isn't it, sir?
Yes, definitely. So instead of writing a very elaborate code, we can write a short code as well. As
Yes,
long as the job is done, it doesn't
mm,
matter whether you write very lengthy code or small code.
true,
Sometimes people think that lengthy code is very efficient.
absolutely,
Some people want to show their knowledge by writing very lengthy code,
absolutely,
particularly using lot of curses and all.
exactly,
And, and these things can be easily implemented with the set-based SQL
true.
codes, which is also very, very compact and very readable.
True, sir. True. We are down to the end of the interview. So you have brought about very interesting points, quite a few interesting points in this interview. And would you like to summarize by giving any recommendation, or would you like to summarize on the best practices for anyone who is trying to learn T-SQL?
Yeah, so we need to first learn which code should be moved to database layer, which code we should have in the application layer.
Okay.
And we should always try to use the proper data type based
Okay.
on the nature of the data. That's very important.
Okay.
And we need to write efficient code in order to make use of the available indexes.
Okay.
That's also very important. And we should avoid unnecessary order by class in the inside the SQL code.
Okay.
Unless and otherwise you are showing the data in a text file.
Okay.
You can have order by class.
Okay.
And we should always make the code very compact, very readable, very easy to understand by following best practices.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, sir. Fine, sir. Thanks a lot for joining me on today via Skype. Thanks a lot for your time, and all the very best for all your future endeavors. Yeah, thanks a
Yes,
lot.
thank you very much. Thank you. Bye.